Start by creating a new 2D animation file in Blender. Switch to Object Mode. Then select the camera. Change the lens type from perspective to orthographic to ensure your drawing remains perfectly flat without any distortion. We'll need a grid to guide us. In a previous tutorial, I showed you how to create a custom grid template in Blender. If you haven't seen it yet, I've linked it above. If you have already made the grid template, follow the next steps to import it into your drawing project. Go to File, choose Append to import that grid into your project. If the grid appears as a single line, it simply means it's on the wrong axis. Just rotate it 90 degrees. Switch over to Draw Mode. You'll see two objects in your outliner, the grid and the stroke. In the Filter menu, enable the Selectable or Editable Restriction toggle. This allows us to lock specific objects so we don't accidentally move them. Lock the grid object. Return to Object Mode, select the stroke object to prepare for drawing, and then switch back into Draw Mode. In the Materials panel, select a solid fill. In the Surface section, change the default gray fill color to black. Now, in the Brush library, select the pen and the Polyline tool. Ensure the material is set to Solid Fill, the strength is at 1, and subdivisions are set to 0. One quick tip: the solid black might hide your grid. Go to the Object Data Properties, select your fill layer, and temporarily lower the opacity to about 0.5. Start drawing from the upper left corner. For this pattern, I'm counting a scale of 10 cells horizontally by 15 cells vertically. Follow the shape as shown and press Enter to confirm the stroke. Switch to Edit Mode and select Point Mode to refine the shape. Select any points that need adjusting and press G to move them into place. Once you're happy with the shape, set the opacity back to 1. Switch the selection mode to Stroke. Press Shift+D to duplicate the shape, then immediately press X to slide the copy along the X-axis. Leave exactly one grid cell of space between the two shapes. Press A to select everything, then Shift+D to duplicate, then X to move both shapes along the X-axis. Repeat this once more. If the design extends beyond your current grid, return to Object Mode and make the grid object editable again. In Edit Mode, use Shift+D and then X to copy the grid and slide it over. Zoom in as much as possible. Switch the view to Wireframe to place the copied grid exactly juxtaposed to the other grid as shown. Eliminate excess cells. Return to Object Mode, select both, the grid and the stroke objects, and scale or move them to fit your workspace. Lock the grid object once more and return to Draw Mode. In the Material panel, create a new fill material with a dark red color. Create a new layer for this part of the design. The drawing process here is identical to the black shapes we made earlier. Return to Edit Mode. Before moving forward, lock the other layers in the Layers panel so you don't accidentally select the black shapes. Adjust the red shapes as needed. If you want absolute precision, press N to open the Transform panel and manually adjust the coordinates under the Item tab. Copy and move these shapes to fill the row. Select the Lines layer and switch to Draw mode. Use the pen brush with a solid stroke material and the Line tool. Set subdivisions to 0 and the size to 0.07. Hold Shift to snap a perfectly horizontal line above the black shapes, then another one below the red shapes. In Edit mode, use Wireframe View to fine-tune their position and length. Create a new layer. Use the Polyline tool to draw the pattern. Switch to Edit mode and use Wireframe View to ensure the segments are perfectly aligned. Once finished, copy and move the pattern across the row. Create one more layer. In Draw mode, select the solid fill material and draw the final decorative shape. Duplicate it across the design. Unlock the layer containing the geometric Greek pattern. Then press A to select all the content within these two layers. Press G, then Z to move everything slightly downward. Select the Lines layer. In Edit mode, select one of the horizontal lines. Press Shift+D to duplicate it, then G and Z to move the copied segment down. Switch to Draw mode to trace the vertical segments on both sides. I'm going to copy this horizontal segment again and place it exactly at the top of these black shapes to ensure a perfectly horizontal alignment. Hide the grid object. Create a light gray, almost white, solid fill material. Name it White. Then add a new layer. In Draw mode, using the pen and the Rectangle tool, draw a rectangle over the entire design. Move the layer to the very bottom of the stack. At this point, the design itself is complete. In the Output panel, double the X resolution to 3960 pixels. In Object mode, select the Stroke object, then scale and position the design in the upper left corner as shown. Press Shift+D to duplicate it, then press X to move it along the X-axis. Leave a small gap between the two designs. Activate the 3D cursor. Left-click on the left corner of the design to place the 3D cursor there. Set the transform pivot point to 3D cursor, then scale both designs together. In the Output Properties panel, change the Y resolution to 700 pixels. Adjust the vertical size of the designs by scaling them to fit. Save your project, render the image, then save it as a PNG. The final result is ready. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please give it a like. If you have any questions or would like me to go into more detail, let me know in the comments. Subscribe to stay updated on my upcoming tutorials and help me create more content. Thanks for watching.